I can taste your words. 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 I can taste
Hello and good morning, everyone. I'm Katie McManus, business strategist and money mindset coach, coming to you live this morning on the Facebooks, on LinkedIn, YouTube, and on Instagram. Welcome. I do love these to be interactive. So if you're joining me and you have a question or you have an opinion about something, then please do pop it into the chat. Sometimes I don't see all of them. So if you do share something and I don't acknowledge it, then know that it's not you. It's just technology acting a little funky, as it is wont to do sometimes. Anyway, this morning, well, let me explain what I'm doing right now. So my whole practice in going live has always been kind of chaotic, right? So I'll either do like a 30-day sprint where I go live every single day, or I'll just do it when I feel like it. And I'm trying something new starting in 2025. And I'm starting, do I have the book handy right here? Yes, I do. My clients are probably so sick of hearing about this. So one of my dear friends, Sandy Milano, who is an incredible realtor, she just breaks records. She's like kills it. I think she sold 100 houses in a year on Cape Cod. So when she tells me that a system works, I believe her. She recommended that I read this book. It's called The 12-Week Year by Brian P. Moran and Michael Lennington. And basically, the whole concept here is that we're not planning the year-long goal. Right? We're not going after the year-long goal. Year-long goals, their argument against them is that year-long goals don't really work for us because A, we're procrastinators naturally. You're not special if you procrastinate, apparently. It's something that we all do. And also, like, we're just not good at predicting what is going to happen several months from now, right? So, like, life happens. Right? There's no period of your life that has gone perfectly to plan, right? It just doesn't work that way. And yet we keep trying to plan a full fucking year to go exactly the way we want. And so they've set up this whole system where instead of doing a year-long plan or even quarters, you just do 12-week sprints and you don't worry about what the next 12-week sprint is going to be. You just focus on this 12-week sprint. And it's funny because it's like already kind of what I do with my clients, where we identify what the most impactful things are going to be in their business. And then we create some kind of accountability or system where they do that thing every single day or, every single weekday. And so I'm all about this. And it got me thinking about how I'm so sporadic with my lives, how I am that kind of chaotic, do it when I feel like it kind of person. And so for the next 12 weeks, I will be going live every single Monday morning, talking about momentum and how you can build it and use it in your business to really reach incredible heights and goals and everything. I'll also be doing a couple other lives throughout the week, but I'm doing this to a schedule, which if you know me, schedules and I'm great at following a schedule when someone else sets it. I tend to be a little more loosey-goosey about it when it's me setting the schedule. So I hope you'll enjoy the next 12 weeks of Momentum Mondays. Today, I want to talk about why I choose momentum over motivation every single day. So motivation just doesn't work. Okay. Motivation. A lot of people wait to feel motivated to go work out. They wait until they're motivated to start their business or motivated to go and find a job. And when I hear someone is waiting for motivation, I hear one of three things. I hear they're waiting for their current state to get painful enough, to get unbearable enough that they can't be here anymore. Okay, so that's one of the things. Like if you're waiting for motivation to strike, you're not. You're not actually. You're waiting for this to suck more, whatever this is, right? The second thing that I hear is you're waiting for you to fall in love with the idea of the thing. Like you're waiting to find the perfect workout. You're waiting to identify like what industry you want to work in. You're waiting for the perfect business idea, right? And as a partaker of life, as I have a working knowledge of how life goes. That doesn't happen that way. You're not going to discover the thing that you love doing without actually going out there and doing it, right? So that's also a myth. And then the last one is you're waiting for like things to be easier. You're waiting for the perfect conditions. You're waiting for you to have enough like money in savings, for you to have enough time off from work. You're waiting for the weather to get better. You're like, whatever it is that is a factor in you going after this thing. So waiting for motivation is an option. It's a choice, 100%. And I'm not saying that motivation doesn't, spur us into action. But if you're waiting for motivation at all times for everything, here's what your life is going to look like. It's either going to be barely bearable in a lot of different ways because you're waiting for things to get painful enough for you to actually make a fucking change. It's going to look like you being that shoulda, coulda, woulda, like pie in the sky, like, oh, well, maybe I should do this and maybe I should do this and blah, 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 blah. We all have a friend like that and we're all sick of them. I mean, they're lovely people. Don't get me wrong, but like, can they just fucking go and do something already? Or you're the person who's just like, well, if only this would be easier. If only I had money, if only, and those people are pretty tiresome. So let's not be that person, right? If there's something that you want, here's your full permission to go and get it. Here's your full permission to just go and start working towards it. All right. There will absolutely be days where you have more energy to get started, where you have more energy to tackle a bigger problem or a bigger project, right? That's absolutely, a fact of life. But waiting for motivation to strike in order to get started on working on this big dream that you have of being healthier, of having your own business, of changing jobs, whatever your dream is just not a good system. It's just not. And really, where does this come from? It comes from the part of our brain that has not evolved beyond us being nomads and having to hide in caves and needing to check around every corner for lions and tigers and bears, right? It's the fear part of our brain, right? The fear part of our brain will always try to convince us to stay with the status quo, even if the status quo sucks. Right? That fear part of your brain would rather you be in a relationship because at least you have someone, even if that person kind of sucks, right? The fear part of your brain would rather you stay in a job that makes you miserable because at least you have a paycheck and health insurance, right? That fear part of your brain will convince you that even though you want this thing, you should probably wait for the conditions to be correct. You should wait for the motivation to strike before you get started. And again, it goes down to choice. You can choose to listen to that part of your brain, or you can tell that part of your brain to fuck off and actually start working on the thing that you want. Now, I'm a big proponent of the second option there, where you just get to work, right? And here's what it takes is you have to start before you feel ready, right? I don't know if those in the audience, hi, Alan, hi, Learning to Love Ames, and I, Kane Fillon, welcome. I don't know about you guys, but do you know how to ride a bike? Did you ever learn how to ride a bike? Like going back in in my memory. I'm thinking back to the first few times I tried to ride a bike, and I was so chicken. I was so terrified to have my training wheels off. Right. And if you were telling me, okay, well, just feel confident at it, just feel good, just get on and just go, I would have been like, no, 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 I'm too scared. I'm too scared. And what it took is not me waiting to not feel scared. What it took was me just kind of taking a chance and coasting with my legs hovering off the ground without the training wheels, before I was ready. It took encouragement. It took like watching my best friend Sophie riding the bike and kind of understanding, okay, well, you push off and then you put your feet on the pedals and then you have to do it. And then it took practicing it. And then it took like figuring out how to stop so you didn't crash into shit, and how to steer and how to turn and all the things. Those are all things I could not have figured out how to do without actually doing it. Right. So you're going to have to start before you feel ready. All right. And part of this is, is you have to kind of understand what actions are going to help you tackle this. Right. So I love using like weight loss or fitness as an example because it's pretty straightforward and everyone knows it. Right. A lot of people think that if you want to lose weight and get in shape, you have to go to the gym and work out. Actually, that's not necessarily true. Weight is lost in the kitchen. Right. So it's more about what you eat. Right. So you need to get at least enough guidance to help you figure that part out. Right. Now, your fear part of your brain will do something that is kind of tricksy of it. And I am absolutely guilty of this. Your fear part of your brain will push you to go and learn as much as you can on the thing. Go learn it. Just go learn, go study, go take a class, go practice, do all the things, practice how to do this, blah, 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 blah. Read as many books about it as possible. And that's useful up to a point. But there's a point at which that becomes a procrastination tactic. There's a point at which learning more actually is just busy work, and it doesn't help you reach the goal. So what actually helps you reach a goal? Momentum, right? Understanding a couple tactics that you can do that are likely to get you to the goal, and building systems to support you in doing those on a regular basis, be it daily, weekly, monthly, whatever, depending on what the goal is. And committing to doing it imperfectly. And I know this is the hardest part for people, right? Because we create these elaborate plans about how we're going to get from point A to point Z. And we like give ourselves like 1,700 different things that we have to do in a day. And I'm going to change my whole life and all my habits. I'm going to become a different person. And then when we fail at just like, I don't know, 10% of it, we give up the whole thing, right? You have to commit to doing it imperfectly. You have to commit to sticking to the plan, even if you miss a day, right? You have to commit to showing up, right? There's this game that like happens naturally. I don't think anyone's like, let's play this game ever. But when you're at someone's house and maybe they had a party the day before and there are balloons, and like, balloons the next day, like they still have helium in them and like they want to float. They have ambitions of floating, but they're on the floor, and they're just not gonna be floaters ever again. But invariably, when you go to a house that has these balloons kind of floating around on the floor after a party, someone will tap it up in the air. And really, without saying anything, someone else will tap it and keep it in the air. And then someone else will tap it and keep it in the air. And then someone else. And then it goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And the unspoken rule of this is don't let it touch the floor. The floor is lava for the balloon. The balloon cannot touch the floor, right? And the further you get, the more taps you're able to do to keep this balloon off the floor, the more urgent it feels, the more like stress you feel about successfully tapping it so it doesn't hit the floor, right? It's the same in your business. It's the same in any goal that you ever want to reach. You have to create that level of momentum. You have to do that one tiny action that leads to the next tiny action, that leads to the next tiny action, right? that gets you building that momentum so you feel bad if you drop it, right? Momentum is so much more effective than motivation in starting your business, right? So here are a few things that you can start building momentum around that are going to be incredibly helpful for you to get clients, to start building your confidence around this, and some resources to help you get started if you want to actually do this now, which I highly recommend you do. Number one, start posting to social media. Start creating content. Start sharing about you. And I don't care if you have a business idea developed yet, but start just outing yourself as you being your glorious human self, right? Because here's the thing. You are your personal brand. You are your personal brand. Okay. So you sharing about what you do and who you are will always be in alignment to the thing that you're going to create, right? Because anything that you create is an extension of you. So starting now, we'll do a couple things. For one, it's going to start building an audience of people who give a fuck about you, right? And this is important because even if they're not your ideal clients, when you do finally decide on your business idea and you announce it and you start posting about it, you start promoting it, you're going to have this massive circle of people who've already engaged with you, who already feel like they know you, like you're their friend, who, even though your business has nothing to do with them, they will want to support you. They will show up in your comments. They will like your posts. They might share it to people in their network, right? So that's one benefit of starting now. And the other benefit, you learn how to do bad content, right? And I know that doesn't sound like something that you want to do because the goal here is to create good content, right? Yeah, of course the goal is to create good content. But how do you think people get there? How do you think people get to the point where they're creating good content? They have to get all the bad content out of them first, right? One of the things I work on with my clients, and this is with every single client, is I have to train them to forget all the writing training that they've ever gotten, right? Because we were trained in school how to write essays and research papers. Like make a point in 5 pages. No, that's not how promoting your business will go, right? We're shown how to make a logical argument. Actually, when you're trying to promote your work, you want to make an emotional argument, right? Because the buying process is an innately emotional process, right? No one makes purchase for themselves or for their business or the company they work for. No one makes a purchase without any emotion attached to it. All right. So we need to learn how to lean into that. But that doesn't happen overnight. You're going to have to learn how to do it badly before you figure out how to do it well. And then you have to figure out how to do it well before you can do it really well and be good at it, right? This is the perfect time to do it when no one's paying attention, when you're not hoping for a specific result here. And I'm just going to check Instagram. Hi, Sarah. Welcome. And hi, Tito. Oh, I just cut myself. Oh, so weird. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah. So you get this benefit of practicing because, here's the thing. Any novelist, any writer will tell you, you cannot edit a blank page, right? Your first draft is going to be garbage. So the first draft of any book, just to give you this information, because I found this incredibly helpful. The first draft is getting the storyline. The second draft is making sure that the storyline makes sense and closing any loopholes, right? And then the third draft is making it interesting, right? You're going to have to start going through that first draft process in talking about yourself and sharing your life story. And it's a beautiful, beautiful gift to be able to start that before you need it to deliver a result. So that's one of the things that I think if you are wanting to start a business, that you absolutely need to do. Now, if you're at the point where you've already decided that you want to start this business, that you need to do it, and maybe you've already taken a couple steps, maybe you started an LLC, maybe you set up a website or whatever, and you're just at this point like the internet tells me that there's a gazillion things that I could be doing. and they all sound smart, like I should be doing them all, and you're getting stalled out because you're just getting so overwhelmed. Here's what I want you to focus on. Number one, visibility, right? What's going to keep you visible in front of your ideal clients, right? Number two, money in the door, right? Are there any people who've told you that they want to work with you that you haven't closed, that you haven't had that buying conversation with? Reach out to them. Say, hey, listen, I'm accepting new clients, right? And number three, building the business. We're doing all the things in the business that will allow for you to be successful later. Now, I know this sounds kind of amorphous, and it kind of is because it's different for everyone. It's different for every business, right? Depending on who your ideal client is, your geographical location, if you're online or in person, what kind of work you do, what you specialize in, and of course, how do you work? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Right? If you hate being on camera, then lives do not need to be a part of your strategy. If you're terrified of public speaking and you do not care about ever getting better, then you know what? Public speaking is probably not going to be the strategy. But for others, it will be, right? So if there's any part of this process that you're like, I just don't know what I don't know, and I'm not really sure who to turn to figure this out, then here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to whatever link in my bio, wherever you're watching this, and I want you to book a Generate Income strategy call with me. Now, in this call, what we're going to do is we're going to identify what your big dream is with this, the big dream for the business and how it's going to impact your life. We're also going to look at what are the obstacles that are keeping you from getting there on your own. All right. And if it's a fit for both of us, then we will talk about different ways to work together. If it's not a fit to work together, then what I'll do is I'll point you in the direction of some resources that I think would be a massive help to you. And really the name of the game is figuring out what is the least amount of work that you need to do to get the most amount of results, right? This is why a lot of my clients come to me when they're still full-time employed in their corporate jobs, because they don't have a whole lot of time to like trial and error and try all the things that are on the interwebs, right? They need someone who is going to discern and kind of like parse out, here's what you need to focus on now. And then here's the next thing. And then here's the next thing so that they can be super economical with their time, right? And really, if you're trying to build momentum, you have to build momentum around something small, right? You can't build momentum around something super, super, super complex, right? The bouncing balloon, that game that just kind of pops up when there's like a semi helium aided, is that how you say that? Balloon kind of floating around a living room. That natural game of people just tapping it to keep it above the ground. That doesn't happen for football. Like people don't naturally just like appear on a field wearing all of the gear and the helmets, and I'm talking about American football, and then have a weird shaped ball and then know how to do the rules. And I obviously don't know anything about football. See, this just would not happen. Starting a business has to be more like the balloon, right? If you're waiting for momentum to strike for you to do all the complexities that you're hearing about online that everyone's telling you should be doing, that is like the best practice, so they say, it's going to be too complex and you're not going to stick with it, right? And a call out to you, I know who you are, who are watching, who convinced yourself that you just need one more certification. And then after that, you're like, oh, well, maybe I should get this other certification. And then after that, you're like, oh, well, I probably need this other certification, to be qualified enough to give myself gravitas and credibility. No, your ideal clients don't understand what a lot of that stuff means. Right? So you having more certifications doesn't actually help you grow the business. It helps you know more stuff, right? But it doesn't actually help you grow the business. What it does is it helps you be more profound in how you confuse your audience, right? Because they won't know what the fuck you're talking about. And unfortunately, while you're confusing them, you're also making sure that they will never buy from you, because a confused buyer never buys, right? I want you to remember that. So anyway, go and create some momentum this week. Go and do something. Decide on one simple thing, be it posting to social media, be it emailing people, asking for referrals. Choose something that you're going to do every single day this week and just get to work. Okay? Push through the fear. Stop being a weenie and just go do it. All right. Well, everyone, that is my Monday momentum live for you. I'm going to remember the name next time, I promise. I hope this was helpful. Hi, Sarah. Sell a feeling, solve a problem, show them consistency, and stand behind your service and product. 100%. Yep. The 80/20 principle. You got it. Yes. Thank you for that. So everyone, I want you to have an amazing Monday, an amazing week. I will be coming to you live on Wednesday, talking about how you can start dreaming bigger for your business. So stay tuned for that. That will be at 6 p.m. Eastern. And on Thursday, I'm going to be talking about how you can actually be more consistent in how you show up in your work without shaming yourself. Okay. There's this model that I do with my clients called Your Favorite Self. It's a wacky, wild idea that it's actually more productive for you to just like yourself while you do work than cause yourself a ton of stress and pump cortisol into your own system. So anyway, stay tuned for those. And if you want to join me again next Monday, it'll be same time, same day. All right, everyone. I'm Katie McManus, business strategist and money mindset coach. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. Mwah. Bye.